Welcome to Toastmaster Time TV, the show that got everybody talking. I'm your host, Adrienne Jefferson Chofor. Today we have a special show because it's our 21st anniversary. This show debuted in March 1997. It was hosted by Mimi Park. Again, we have a great show in store for you. And we have a familiar face. James Jeffley will be our evaluator for the show. James, tell us more about the show today.
Hi, Adrienne. We have a wonderful show in store for our viewers. We have three great speakers tonight. First up is Hari Candadai, and he's going to be speaking from the Competent Communicator Manual, talking about how to say it. Followed by Jeanne Alford from my home club, Heart to Heart, and she's going to be working from the Presentation Pathway, Presentation Mastery. Followed by another home club member, Marian Lee, who will also be speaking about Presentation Mastery. So three wonderful speakers, and I'm looking forward to three great speeches.
A lot of representation from Heart to Heart today from your club, James, so I know it's going to be a wonderful show. How dynamic. Now we'd like to introduce our first speaker, Hari Candadai. Hari, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Adrienne. Great to be here.
Good to be here. Well, it's good that you're here with you.
Yes.
Now, we mentioned Heart to Heart already. I think your club is different.
Chamber Chatters.
Chamber
Chatters in downtown Pleasanton, and we meet on Wednesdays from noon to 1.
Okay, and how long have you been a Toastmaster?
I've been a Toastmaster for about 10 years now.
Wow.
It's been a great journey, yes.
Okay, tell me a little about it.
Originally, I wanted to be a Toastmaster just to improve my public speaking skills, which was great. But I learned over the years that there was so much more to Toastmasters than just the public speaking part of it, right? So I enjoyed the leadership roles at the club as well as in the area level. And not only that, even the skills like listening skills that go such a long way, things that I did not know that I could learn from Toastmasters, it came together as a wonderful package, and I'm enjoying every single day of it, yeah.
And it shows all over your face. So I tell you what, I'm going to give you some time to get set up to give your speech.
Sure.
And I'm going to share with our viewers what your objectives you're working on from the Competent Communicator Manual.
Sounds great.
Great. So Hari's going to be working from the Competent Communicator Manual project, How to Say It, as James had already brought out. The objectives, he's going to select the right words and sentence structure to communicate his ideas clearly, accurately, and vividly. And he's going to use rhetorical devices to enhance and emphasize his ideas and eliminate jargon and unnecessary words. And of course, he'll use the correct grammar. So I will now introduce Hari Candadai, and his speech is just say it. Just say it, Hari Candadai.
Look to this day, for it is life, the very life of life. The bliss of growth, the glory of action, and the splendor of beauty. For yesterday was but a dream, and tomorrow only a vision. But today, well lived, makes every yesterday a dream of happiness, and every tomorrow a vision of hope. And such is the salutation to dawn. That wonderful poem was written by the great Indian poet Kalidasa back in the 5th century. I recite that poem every morning in the backyard so I don't wake up my wife, the girls, but then I end up waking up the entire neighborhood. I used to recite that poem mentally. I used to contemplate about the poem. But the magic happened only when I began to say it aloud. And that is the power of saying aloud. The more I began to say it aloud, I realized that I truly enjoyed every single day. No wonder affirmations work, because they drive away years of negative programming and addictive thinking. And as the scriptures say, imagine how darkness gets driven away when light comes bursting in. One of my favorite affirmations, every time I feel a little fearful, a little anxious, a little tense, like I am right now, is this: I am freeing myself from security, sensation, and power addictions that make me try to forcefully control situations in my life and thus destroy my serenity and keep me from loving myself and others. The more I say that, the more I repeat it, I feel power and peace descend on me. That affirmation is from one of the most powerful books that I've read, called The Handbook to Higher Consciousness by Ken Keyes. There are so many such pithy affirmations in that book, when repeated, can remove years of negative programming and negative thinking. It changed my life. That is the power of saying it aloud. Now, when you say it aloud, it not only helps you grow as a person, be everything that you are meant to be, but it helps raise everybody around you to their highest levels. Imagine how you feel when someone says, "You can do it. It's okay, make mistakes," or "You are wonderful just the way you are." And imagine if you hear that when you're 3 years old, 5, 7, 10 years old, 15 years old, especially if it comes from someone of authority, like a parent, a teacher, a coach. I remember our daughter Rati, when she was 4 or 5 years old, used to repeat after me, "I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Blessings are chasing me down. I am a masterpiece." I just wonder what kind of a world we will be living in if we instill such positive thoughts, such positive thinking with our words early on in their lives. Certainly a world full of superachievers, but also, I believe, a world filled with loving kindness. And that is the power of saying it aloud. But here's the tricky part. It can work the other way too. Imagine someone condemning you every day for many days, and it goes on and on. That can mean years of heartache and pain. It will be hard for you to get away and break free. I remember hearing this metaphor that said, words are like arrows. Think very carefully before you speak, for they sink in deep. So let's all be very stingy with our fault finding, but let's be lavish with our praise, starting at our home, our schools, at work, in the community. Let's all use our words to push other people forward. Tell them what a great job they're doing, and tell them that we are always there to help them. And watch magic happen. That's why I love Toastmasters. Toastmasters builds us. We build each other with our words. As a Toastmaster, as an evaluator, as a grammarian, our words have a tremendous impact on others. And when you keep doing this, and that's when you get to the next level as the Toastmaster, I've had the opportunity, the privilege to be evaluated by many great Toastmasters, masterful evaluators over the years, who've told me not only things that I've done well, but also things that I can improve upon. That has made me a better person every day and has made me who I am today. Arrows of words wrapped with lessons and love. That is the power of saying it aloud. And that is the driving force of me being a Toastmaster today.
That was an amazing speech, so powerful, so energetic and lively in its delivery. James, what did you think about Hari's speech?
Well, I thought it was great. You know, the whole point of the project from the Competent Communicator Manual was about how to say it. And I think Hari really demonstrated every possible meaning within that. Not only grammatically speaking well, using great words, using stories. He did a poem at the very beginning. It was very rich language. But he also gave us the essence of the point, which was to say your message out loud and to do it mindfully, do it intentionally. I loved the part where he's talking about, you know, starting at home, starting in our schools, you know, with our young ones, and saying kind words, not hateful or mean words. It was a very powerful speech, full of not only great technical things from a speaker perspective, but also great messages from a wonderful human being. I enjoyed it very much.
Thank you, James. We did as well. Now I had the pleasure of introducing our second speaker, Jeanne Alford. Jeanne, welcome to the show. Good to have you.
Pleasure being here.
So James had mentioned that you're from his club, Heart to Heart.
Yes, I am.
How long have you been with Heart to Heart?
I have been with Heart to Heart for just a little over a year.
Okay, and what brought you into Toastmasters?
A couple of the ladies that I have been working with as a coach suggested that I come to a workshop one particular weekend, and they convinced me that I could learn something just by working with them at that workshop. And what they convinced me was I need to really hone and find my voice.
Find your voice. And how's that been coming along so far?
It's been an interesting path, let's say.
Okay.
Because I've been resistant, and working through the Toastmasters manual, I have learned to let go of some things and actually let my voice come through.
That's fantastic, finding your authentic self and your authentic voice. Well, I'm looking forward to hearing your speech. I'm going to give you some time to set it up, get yourself set up, and I'm going to share with our viewers which pathway you're working on and the purpose of your speech. So Jeanne is working from the presentation mastery path and pathways, and she's working from the researching and presenting project. It's the purpose of it is to use basic research methods to prepare a well-organized and well-researched speech. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Jeanne Alford. Do you have a superpower? Do you have a superpower? Jeanne Alford.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. There's a beauty in using a rhetorical question as the title of your talk, because I'm pretty sure nobody's going to be surprised when I ask you a question. Do you have a superpower? I believe we all have superpowers, and that sometimes we just need to be reminded. My name is Jeanne Alford, and I'm a communications and media coach. I have a superpower, one that I've honed over the years throughout my career, and that is simply this. I have the ability to take complex notions and break them down to be understandable. Now, it's come through a lot of practice, and it's become muscle memory. And I'm going to talk to you about superpowers that are in our muscle memory and that I'd like to remind us each, and I'm saying it to myself as well. Because to have a superpower doesn't mean that you need to have a mask and be in a Marvel movie. We're born with superpowers. And there's an ultimate one that I will reveal. And I hope at the end of this talk that everybody raises their hand and believes that we all have superpowers. So are you ready for the first one? It might be surprising to you. The first superpower is breathing. You might think I'm kidding. We all breathe, we're alive. Yes, we do. But most of us breathe here, in the upper chambers of our lungs. We breathe enough to get the oxygen to live. But when you start to learn about things like yoga or meditation or stress management, you start to learn that you need to breathe from here. You need to get as much oxygen as you can into your body. That helps your body, it helps your brain. But from a communications perspective, which is what I look at things through, it helps with something else. It lets this catch up to this. What am I saying? Let me quote my father. Engage brain before you open mouth. It also allows you to get centered and to actually be able to be flexible no matter what is sent to you, to move and flow. It's a very important power that we often overlook because we do it every day. The other superpower I want to bring to your attention is listening. We all listen. We all hear each other, or do we? Because most of the time, before we even begin to hear somebody, we start to formulate how we're going to answer them. Think about that. Before somebody finishes a sentence, we're already thinking about how we're going to answer. How are we going to outwit them? How are we going to show them that we know more? How can you have a good conversation when you don't hear the whole sentence? Consider being with Steve Harvey in Family Feud, and he says, according to a survey, 100 housewives say men never, you hit the buzzer. Now you got to answer it. There's no coming back. You have to answer it. Now I can think of a million ways that that statement could go. And that's the problem when you don't hear the whole sentence or the whole question. Think of all the miscommunications we have in our daily lives because we don't really hear everybody. Think about the gift that we bring when we truly listen to somebody and we understand what they're trying to say. It's a superpower. And it takes the third superpower to be able to use it. And that is to choose. Simply put, we get to choose to react or to respond. What does that mean? When we react, it's shoot from the hip. It's say what's the first thing out of your mind. It's not necessarily thoughtful or deliberate. When you respond, you think of things in context and you figure out the right way to answer somebody. And you're able to move the conversation forward. What a power! You also can change the energy in the room because if it's a difficult situation, you've now thoughtfully and deliberately responded and dissipate that tension. So think about this. When you start to breathe deeply and get centered and let your brain connect to your mouth, when you start to truly listen and understand what's being said to you, and when you take the time to choose to be thoughtful and deliberate, to respond versus react, that leads to the ultimate superpower. And what is that? The ultimate superpower is simply to be. Think about that. There's only one of me in this world, only one person that can say, I'm Jeanne Alford and I'm a communications expert. Only one person who had my mom and dad. There's only one of you. You have gifts that the world needs today, and that is your superpower. So let me ask the question again. Do you have a superpower? My name is Jeanne Alford, and my superpower is to be me. Thank you.
Jeanne, that was a fantastic speech. You just confirmed, I have a superpower too. I really enjoyed that speech, and I'm sure James did as well, but I'd like to hear his feedback. James?
I really enjoy the speech, and I loved Jeanne's whole take on the superpower, right? Just being yourself, being your authentic self. I think she really has found her voice. I love the 3 suggestions that you just breathe, listen, and then just be yourself. And I think that's great advice for anybody who's trying to overcome their fear of anything, but in particular, public speaking. Breathe, listen to yourself, to your message, to your audience, and then just be yourself and say your message out loud. I loved how both of these speeches seem to dovetail nicely with one another. I think she's well on her way to developing her own presentation mastery.
I definitely agree with you, James. And I look forward to hearing Jeanne's speech again, or a different speech from Jeanne. And now, without further ado, I'd like to introduce our final speaker, last but definitely not least, Marian Lee. Welcome, Marian. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And you're also with?
Heart to Heart Toastmasters in Oakland.
Another dynamic speaker from Heart to Heart Club.
Yes.
And how long have you been a Toastmaster?
I have been in Toastmaster for about 2 years, several years ago, and now I rejoined the club about 6 months ago.
Okay, so 2 years ago you joined and you rejoined
Yes.
the club.
Yes.
Okay, great. And how is your journey going so far in Toastmasters?
It's great. It's been very exciting, and it totally improved my confidence and my skill of communication. So I totally enjoy being a Toastmaster. Yes.
That's great. And we're happy to have you back in Toastmasters, and we're happy to have you here in the studio today to deliver your speech. So I'll let you set up, and I'm going to share with our viewers more about the pathway that you're working from and the project.
Sure.
Marian is working from the presentation mastery pathway, and the project is evaluation and feedback. So she's going to get evaluation and feedback from this speech and incorporate it into her next speech. So now I'd like to introduce Marian Lee, Growing Younger. Growing Younger, Marian Lee.
You are looking at the mirror. You don't like what you look for quite some time. Your skin wrinkled, your body changed, your energy sapped. You wonder how in the world I can feel younger again. My name is Marian Lee. I am a traditional Chinese medicine practitioner for over 17 years. I have seen enough people struggle with premature aging. Therefore, I decide to dedicate my work to help people overcome this problem so they can feel stronger and younger. How many of you would like to know the #1 secret of growing younger? Great. The first most important step is pay attention to your posture. A posture is the way that you hold your body and your limbs in a position, whatever you do. A good posture is that you pay attention to your body in a way that put least strain to your back. There's 3 major reasons that you want to have a good posture. First, is a strong back and lengthened spine appears useful and vital, and it gives you strength. Second, a good posture opens the space for your organ to function properly. You don't want to slouch. When you slouch, you squeeze your organ and it pushes forward it makes your belly appears bigger. And you tend to look older. You don't want to look like a cashew. You want to look like a celery stalk. Third, is a good posture can prevent you from having a back injury. How many of you had heard that people hurt their back by lifting heavy objects like furniture, even doing aerobic exercise like hiking, biking, or jogging in a bumpy road, or even sailing on a rough sea can cause back injuries. Therefore, posture relates to your health, especially how you look and how you feel. Pay attention to your posture is very important. I want to show you what a good posture looks like. So whether you are sitting or standing, you can lift up your arms toward the sky as far as you can. Take a deep breath. And then without moving anything else, put your hands down. Now your back is straightened. And that's what a good posture looks like. And it feels good. Statistics shows 80% of adults have suffered from back pain. And it's the second most common cause of a doctor's visit. Therefore, a good posture can prevent back pain as well as prevent you from taking unnecessary pills. I have a client named Daniel. He's 80 years old. Daniel simply just want to feel stronger and better. I work on his posture, teaching him some vitality exercise, and then give him some Chinese medicine for his vitality. Daniel now is a great tango dancer. Daniel simply just want to enjoy life as much as he can. So he can also drive 8 hours or long distance with no problem. And he also got a girlfriend. What I learned from Daniel is he made a decision that he definitely want to live a quality of life naturally. So with improved posture and vitality, he is able to enjoy his family and friends and with freedom. With that, he able to enjoy vitality and longevity for many years to come. We only have this one body. What you want to do with it is up to you. We only have this one life. What you want to do with it is up to you as well. Make an effort to live in a vitality naturally so you can stay young and healthy and do what you love. It's never too late or too early to grow younger. Thank you.
Marian had me at younger self. That was an informative talk that we just had. I'd like to welcome James to the desk, James Jeffley. What did you think?
I'll have what she's having.
Yes, I'll have some too.
Anything to dial the clock back on the calendar.
Okay.
What I really liked about her speech was the vitality with which she gave it. I mean, she was really epitomizing that the mental youth, right, and the attitudinal youth. And she gave a very simple, straightforward suggestion. Right. Maintain good posture. As you said that, both you and I sat up straight in our chairs. And, oh my! Right. Do we get like a month credit for that?
Suck in the gut.
Right, but really great advice, and sometimes the best speeches have that, something very simple wisdom that the audience can take back with them and use right away.
Absolutely, I agree with that. I loved her delivery, but it was also informative, something that you could use. It wasn't something that was like, okay, well, let me think about that. Right in that moment, we both sat up straight in our chairs.
Exactly.
I really enjoyed the speeches, all the speeches for our show today.
And I really appreciated how all of them gave us examples of simple wisdom that we can use right now. From Hari talking about just say it, right? Yes. But say it, you know, kind things, gentle things. Jeanne was talking about also say it, but be yourself and be still and listen, right? Be mindful. And finally, the simple wisdom from Marian about posture. I thought they all dovetailed very nicely, and a lot of great wisdom for our audience.
Yeah, I agree, James. Well, thank you for coming on the show today. We appreciated having you. We tape our show here in the beautiful Bay Area. If you'd like to learn more about our show, please visit our website, toastmastertime.com. And we're sponsored by our district, District 57. If you'd like to learn more about our district, please visit its website, d57tm.org. And if you'd like to learn more about Toastmasters or find a club near you, please visit toastmasters.org. We'd like to take the opportunity to thank all of our wonderful speakers today, Hari Candadai, Jeanne Alford, and Marian Lee, and also the incomparable James Jeffley as our evaluator for today's show. I'm your host, Adrienne Jefferson Chofer, and before I let you go, I'd like to thank our hardworking volunteers that come to the studio and support this show. That's Toastmaster Time TV, the show that keeps everybody talking. I'll see you next time.